Hi everyone, I'm Janet and I'm one of the admins on this group. The other day I put out a video and it was so well received, so thank you for all your kind comments, and a few of you said that you'd like some more, so you might have seen my post this morning. If you've got any ideas, things that you'd like me to do a video on, then do let me know. But I thought I'd put one out today, really just to take you on my journey, tell you what happened to me and how I went from size 30 when I was about 22.5, 23 stone, and I'm now down to size 8. Although if you did see my video the other day, you'll see that I got into a pair of size 6s. Anyway, first of all, apologies. I've never made a video before, so I don't know how to do all the editing stuff, so it might look a bit shoddy, but we'll give it a go. And it's too easy to sort of like overthink these things, and I'd be start, stop, and I wouldn't get it done. So I'm just going to go with the mistakes, roll with them, and hopefully it will be all right. Anyway, so I mean, let me start off by telling you that obviously I didn't get to a size 30 without having tried every diet going. You know, Weight Watchers, Slimming World. The things that I used to find though was with all of those, although you know you will inevitably lose weight if you follow the plan. All I ever used to do was think about food. You know, my entire focus, you know, to lose weight, I don't want to be thinking about food, but actually with Weight Watchers, all I did was think about food. How many points can I have? How many sins it is? Somebody comes into the office and they've got some cakes and I'm like, oh my God, how many have I got left? And you know, you replan your meals for the rest of the day based on you having one biscuit. So inevitably I would go on Weight Watchers, lose some weight, come off, put more back on, and hence getting to the size 30. And then one day my son came home from nursery, so he would have been about 3, something like that. And he came home and he looked a bit upset. And I asked him what was wrong, and it turned out that one of his friends had said that my bum was the size of a planet. And it upset him. And you know what? It was that moment that made me think, gosh, if I don't want to do this for me, I need to do it for him. Because although, you know, at that age, actually kids just say what they see. You know, your mum's got a big bum. I did. But, you know, in later life, it can be used to hurt them, can't it? To bully them. So that was the moment for me that I went, right, I got to do this. And the Paul McKenna book, I have to be honest, it'd been sat in my living room for about 2 years. And I'd sort of like, as with everything to do with slimming, I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, I will do that, but I'll do it tomorrow. Destroyed my life back then. And anyway, I decided to pick it up and go with it. And it was brilliant because I have to say, it was the first time that anything actually made sense to me. You know, reprogramming your brain from the beginning, so that, you know, like with diets, you go on them, you fall off them. When you fall off, you revert to bad habits. But if you change the habits right at the very beginning, at the core, right in the subconscious, so you change the original way of thinking, then it stands to reason that you should be able to lose weight and keep it off. And so far for me, I mean, although my journey has been a bit up and down, it's been fantastic. So yeah, I started doing Paul McKenna, and the weight just dropped off. It was brilliant. I got really into it. I listened every single night religiously as I was falling asleep. I would listen to the hypnosis. Everyday visualization exercises, you know, and I really did get into it. Havening wasn't such a big part of it in those days with the old book, because I had the original paperback version, just black and white version, and Havening wasn't in it so much back then, if those of you that have seen his books with Havening in. But it was great, and I never quite get this right. Did I lose 5 stone in 6 months or 6 stone in 5 months? I can't remember. But either way, I lost a lot of weight very quickly. But then when you've got that much to lose, you know, it's quite, you know, it's not hard to lose that much weight when you've got so much going on. Anyway, so I got down from size 30 to, I went all the way down to about size 12. And it was fantastic, and the newspapers picked me up and I was ever so excited. So I had a photo shoot, and wonderful. Anyway, I then, as a result of actually having lost all this weight, an abdominal condition that I had, in fact I do still have, but not as bad, but the condition that I had got a lot better, which is great, you know, an advantage of weight loss. So it meant that I didn't need to be on the massive doses of opiates that I was on. I was on, it's stronger than morphine, but it's called fentanyl, and these were patches that I had on. So I had fentanyl going in me 24/7, and very high doses as well to cope with the pain. And I didn't need to be on them anymore. So I was able to detox, which, well, the detox itself that's another story. That's harrowing beyond anybody's imagination. Anyway, I managed to get off the opiates, so I was now slim and I was drug free, and actually out of pain, which is great. But unfortunately, the detox had an effect on my hormones. And I started, even though I was doing Paul McKenna and, you know, nothing had changed up here, suddenly I was ravenously hungry. And I mean, hunger like I'd never experienced before when I got up to a size 30. This is waking up in the middle of the night, starving, hungry, and not being able to think of anything else but eating. And although, you know, I'd had aspects of that before, nothing like this. This was another level. Anyway, so I ended up putting on 4 stone in 4 months. I mean, that's a lot. Stone, I know that we've got a few people from the US, so 4 stone is 56 pounds in just 4 months. So you can imagine how devastated I was. You know, I put all this hard work in and I'd gone back up, and ironically, you know, when I went back up, I got up to size 18 to 20. Now, ironically, when I was coming down to an 18 to 20, originally, I was really happy. But to go back up to an 18 to 20 was devastating. My self-confidence plummeted. I didn't really see many of my friends. I felt ashamed, and it was terrible. Anyway, I'll cut a very, very long story short. We discovered that I was overproducing a hormone, and it was actually a hormone called ghrelin, which is partly, well, it is responsible for hunger. And it turned out, as a direct result of the detox, that I had this hunger hormone issue. So no amount of doing Paul McKenna then would have resolved it. So in some respects that was helpful, because I was so confused. You know, it worked before, why wasn't working now? But I was able to have treatment to sort out this problem, and then I was able to get back onto Paul McKenna. But I have to say, to start with, it didn't feel the same. It didn't have the same impact. I seem to remember it being so different before, but this time it wasn't quite so easy. I didn't have that instant willpower that I'd had before, and I wasn't really sure why. But, and actually I'm going to address that in another video another time, I think, about why it doesn't work a second time. But I do think that it's largely to do with needing to almost remember to recreate everything that you did the first time. So I will go into more detail on another video, but you know, you need to read the book in its entirety. I think to start with, what I did is I thought, well, I already know what's in the book, I know the system, I just need to listen to hypnosis and it'll work. But it didn't. So it needed me to do everything in order for it to work again. But it did, and so I've now lost a further 7 stone, so something like that. So in total I've lost 13.5 stone, which is 189 pounds, and I'm now, as I say, into a size 8 and a lot happier and healthier. And you know, a lot of the time people say, you know, oh, you look great, or all those things. But you know, the really special bits for me are being able to sit in a seat with armchairs and not worry about then standing up and it coming up with me, or the fat seeping out the side. You know, I don't have that shame, I guess it was, of going on an aeroplane and needing to ask for an extension belt. So things like that, they're the things that actually keep me really happy and high, because every day I'm like, oh God, I couldn't do that before. Fantastic. And that's what keeps me going. So I wanted to share this with you. As I say, I will go into more detail on certain aspects of it on other videos, but I wanted to let you know that my story, you know, I did do it the first time and I lost the weight, but then I did put it back on and it was devastating. But I got back on it, and you keep going, and that's all you can do at the end of the day. You've just got to keep on at it and it will work. So I'm going to leave it at that for now, and hopefully, you know, that's given you a bit of an insight into me. And then if you've got any questions or any ideas for a future video, something where we can really go into a bit more detail, then do let me know. Anyway, I hope you're well and that you have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Oh, before you go, I've actually just watched the video back that I've just done, and I thought, oh, I forgot to end it with a couple of little tips, things that I used to do and that might be useful. So I thought I'd just tag this little bit on to the end, see if I can edit it. That'll be fun. Anyway, so yeah, so let me tell you what I used to do that did help. One of the things is, you know, like with Weight Watchers, you weigh yourself every week, and you know, quite often you'd weigh yourself in between, and this sometimes would be demotivating if you hadn't seen a weight loss, and then, you know, self-sabotage then comes in and things like that. So actually with Paul McKenna, I very deliberately, and I'm going to tell you it was hard, but I very deliberately didn't weigh myself for 3 to 4 weeks in between. Now we do get into this sort of like habit of weighing ourselves more regularly, but let me tell you something. Getting on the scales and seeing a 6 to 8 pound weight loss is so motivating, to see in that chunk compared to a 1 or 2 pound weight loss. You know, 1 to 2 pounds, it doesn't really feel such a great difference. So I deliberately did that. Now that was hard, so I did have to change a few things. I had to put my scales away, but not just away, but in a difficult place that it wasn't easy to just go and grab it. And then once a month, or every 3 to 4 weeks, I would, you know, it would be a thing to go and get them and to see. Because that was great, because our bodies do go up and down, and with for ladies that are on this, obviously our cycles mean that sometimes we do carry more weight, and when we don't see a weight loss during that time, that can be really demotivating. So I think we've got to do things that are on our side. We've got to take steps to try and help ourselves. And so one way of helping for me was to see big weight loss, so leave it longer between weighing. So I definitely recommend that one. What else do I recommend? I made a few notes. So oh, I'll tell you what I used to do as well. The eating slowly so that you can listen to when you're full is so important. It's a crucial part of you know, sorry, that's my I had an alarm go off, sorry about that. Anyway, I said that if I had mistakes I'd carry on, so this is me carrying on, sorry. Anyway, so, you know, when we say, a lot of people have the problem of only eating when they're hungry, you know, sometimes they eat when they're not hungry. But actually, I want to go on to the third and fourth rule, which is, you know, to eat every mouthful slowly, fully and consciously, and stop when you're full, because those are absolutely crucial to the success. It's not just the first one that's crucial. And do you know what I used to do? If you see MasterChef, in there, you know, like people have made this extraordinary food or whatever, and the judges, when they taste it, you can almost taste it with them, can't you? Because they're describing all the flavours and the textures and the smell and how it's cooked, and, you know, they sex it up. Well, I used to literally pretend that I was like on MasterChef as a judge, and I used to take a mouthful and I used to, you know, consciously think hard, every flavour, every texture, every difference in texture. I used to see how many different flavours can I taste within a mouthful, and all these sorts of things. And actually that does help you, first of all, enjoy your food, but it does help you slow down as well. So I definitely recommend doing that, because that definitely helped, and it's quite good fun. And I know lots of people think I'm mad for thinking that I'm a MasterChef, but, you know, it worked. So what else? Smaller plates. That's something that we still do here, you know, that I still do to this day. I always serve onto a smaller plate for me, and it's psychologically, it does make a difference. So I recommend that as well. What else have we got? Visualization exercises. Yeah, every day, on top of, you know, the hypnosis, I would imagine myself in a slim body. I would really picture what that was, and I'd think of that several times a day. And particularly when I was feeling weak. So going back to the first rule, to only eat when you're hungry, obviously a big problem is when you're not hungry and you're still eating. You're eating for other reasons. It's at that moment that, for me, taking a second to identify that that's what I was doing, that's what I was about to do, and then really visualising myself in that slim body, you know, and almost meditating, you know, sitting there and actually visualising it in that way. Because I tell you something, when you visualise something, the chances of it happening are increased tenfold. You know, athletes at the beginning of a race, they are visualising passing the winning finishing line. So it is a tried and tested method, and when you do think that way, and when you visualize yourself, I tell you, it is so much harder to actually then go and eat when you're not hungry, because it becomes counterintuitive. So I definitely recommend the visualization. And there is one other thing that I'm going to quickly tell you about. It's called Subliminal Blaster. You can get it for your computer. And what it is, it's a program that just sits in the background and you wouldn't notice it, but you type in something like a message of affirmation, so something that you will do. So I will stop when I'm full, stop eating when I'm full, and you put this in. And what it sort of does is that whilst you're working on your computer, it flashes an occasional message subliminally that you can't see, but it's a bit like hypnosis in that it goes into the subconscious. And it's, now, how effective it is, you know, a discussion for whether subliminal messaging is effective. But it is something that maybe you can think about. It doesn't have to be anything to do with weight loss either. You know, you could put affirmation messages about anything. So that's my last tip to leave you with. So I'm sorry that it's extended the video a little bit, but anyway, have a great weekend and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.